And don't say the bugla, because we already know that.
Oh, but what was the question? I'm not sure.
What have been your favorite developments in music tech over the years, other than the bugla?
You mean in
And
terms of equipment?
Yeah, because I mean, we see from the video, or we see from the film that you're using Ableton Live, for instance.
Well,
And
I don't want to do a commercial.
Oh, okay. We can be more general. It looked like you were using a talk box. Is that true?
Well, let me give you, my metaphor evolved from the studio art. The record is a studio art experience. Today, it's normal. Everybody has a little, they do it, with a computer and you do all that. I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't want to wait until that happened. I wanted to do it right away. So the Buchla was a kind of analog computer to be able to deal with that. But in terms of the ongoing, my metaphor has evolved to the point where when I tried to do performances, Colgate was one, but it was difficult, aside from being threatened to kill me. It was difficult for me because it required so much equipment and people to be able to do something live that I often stopped and I was waiting for the computer. The computer came and it didn't work well, and then I used it for a while, and then I gave away, and I won't go to the whole long story of it. But eventually, in the last 10 years or so, what is this, 222? Oh, about 12 to 15 years, the computers have gotten to the point where you can actually, they go fast enough that you can actually do it, but there's no software. The software is still thinking software. And by accident, most of my life is by accident, starting with the clarinet. And it actually started when I was born, because when I got in the Army, they said, you have to change your name. Your name is not Morton. And we have your birth certificate. And I said, it's not. And they said, no. Look, and I had called my mother on the phone. I said, what's going on? And she told me, I'm not going to tell you the story, but she tells me why she called me the name they put on the birth certificate and why they called me Morton. So it's a whole thing. Everything has been a mistake all the way through. But good mistakes. But
Fate, even.
Where was I?
Well, I mean, we were talking about music tech, but to be honest, let's move on. I think that I'm more interested to know how you've adapted your ideas about electronic music over the years. How you adapted your ideas about electronic music.
I was telling you about the software. So when I was doing Jacob's Room, I was using software that I was using at that point. Mark Caniglio had actually made it. I think he's in the audience. And I'd been using that, and it was very sophisticated. It allowed me to do all kinds of things. And this guy who was running the sound for Jacob's Room didn't know this and couldn't learn it. So what he knew was Ableton. And so I had to learn Ableton and reformat it. And after about 2 or 3 years of using Ableton, I realized that it was perfect. I mean, it isn't perfect, but it was very close in the sense of being open-ended. And it's gotten more so over the years. They involve Macs and various things, and I'm really, by accident, I got with Ableton, and it's allowed me to take me to the next step. So now I can do all the things that I wanted to do. So, but it's not an advertisement. Don't go out.
Okay, let's hope no one from Ableton is here. It's interesting because to think that in 1967, when you released Silver Apples and the Moon, that wasn't everything that was in your head. That there was more spilling out, which leads me to, what is the piece tonight about? Because I'll bet there's a concept behind it.
Say it again.
What is the piece tonight about? Because I'll bet there's a concept behind it.
It's called, I mean, this is a case where I had already said that I wasn't going to do any more music. So
yeah, how's retirement treating
right.
you?
So I thought, one more piece. We can do one more piece, and I thought, you're getting really old. You can hardly get on the stage. They have to help me up onto the stage. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it off the bed sometimes. And I thought, just a cute thing, as I live and breathe, as I live and breathe, I know I'm alive. When I wake up in the morning in that wonderful area, we live in the woods, I look out the window and I said, you did it another day, good for you. Take a deep breath, and I take a deep breath every day. I wonder when I go to bed if I'm gonna wake up dead. That's a joke, not a very good one.
Wow, I have to say, this has been a very positive message tonight. You're living music, and every day is a gift that brings new music. That's pretty beautiful, actually.
And so it's live and breathe, and so I breathe. I use that a lot. I use it in Crowds and Power, and so that was an easy thing to start with. And then I go into what I called the cadenza, because the other thing that I did with the bucla that really changed everything was 1969, starting with touch. I had bucla make me an envelope follower, which allows my voice to go, and I can take that and control anything in the bucla with that.
That's what the device is. Okay.
Yeah, and with a bucla, with a Ableton, I can make 7 of them. I can just copy and paste, and so they're all over the place. Except they use a lot of CPU, so I can't really do that. But so that changed that technology with the bucla when he made that for me. It may have been the first one because it was 1968. I haven't heard of anyone before that, but that doesn't really matter. That carried me through, so I use it a lot in this piece. I do a cadenza. I don't know what I'm going to do up there because I broke my finger, and I don't know how I'm going to play, but I'll try. And but I'll do my best. But it goes from a kind of breathing thing into somewhat pitched area stuff, and then it goes to the voice going ta, tick, ta, do, tar, and I have my voice in samples with grooves, with Ableton grooves, controlling electronics, and I make a quartet of my voice with me live and my live voice speaking to me, and I'm speaking to it, and that transforms into pure pitch and actual melody. There's only one harmony, it's just one chord, but I've used that a lot in the pieces. It was the end of Cloudless Sulfur way back in 1978 or 9, whatever, and I used elements of that. And this is the best one that I've done, I think. And so it goes from breath to breath becoming a little pitch-like, and then breath turning into talk, but not words, and then coming out of it back into the pitch that you could take the end of the first part and go straight to the last part, and it would make sense. But the cadenza, that's why I call it a cadenza. It's not really part of the piece. It's sort of a virtuoso section that sort of comes in the middle, and it sort of makes sense, I guess. I don't really know.
I think that helps us give some context for what we're